Hello and welcome to the cricket catch-up from Guernsey Press Sport. Coming up, we'll round up the week in OD Wealth Evening League One as Cobo steal a march on their washed-out rivals, and we'll reflect on the weekend's MCC action. They've been taking on a GCB 11 here at the College Field, and a comfortable win in the end for that GCB 11. With me to do all that is Lee Savident, the Channel Islands' first ever professional cricketer, going back a couple of years now. Lee, now part of the Island men's coaching setup. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at all.
Let's start with that game today then, and it was a GCB 11 that have beaten that all-local MCC side by 7 wickets. Some testing, muggy conditions this morning for the MCC, who were all out for 140 in the last over of their 40 overs. Ollie Newey making 24, his side's top scorer. The wickets shared around the GCB players. In reply, they made some pretty swift progress. Matt Stokes and CJ Peatfield doing the damage. Stokes out for 51 in the end as they won, as I say, by 7 wickets. He really is a man in form. That 50 coming after a mammoth double ton for the Old Elizabethans last weekend. Yeah, Matt, what is it, 51 today, a couple of runs last week. In pretty good nick at the moment?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm seeing the ball really well, and something that I'm focusing on a lot is my confidence. So I haven't had a lot of confidence the last couple of years. But focusing ball by ball, making sure that I'm seeing the ball clearly and I've got a clear plan is just giving me the confidence to express myself, and I'm coming up trumps with the runs at the moment.
And yeah, talk us through that innings last week then. What is that kind of rate or rank in innings you've played before?
So I reckon it's probably my second best innings that I've played, and we said at the start as a team that the first 20 overs are going to be difficult, and if we get through that then there's runs to score at the back end, and I did that. I've battled hard. I think I was 17 off 12 overs, and then I was just able to express myself and really go into the gear that I didn't think that I had, but no, I've shown that I can, and getting 200 is something that I never thought I'd do, so to get there is a very special moment.
Lee, from one all-rounder to another, let's start with Matt Stokes. Just what do you make of the form he's in at the moment?
Well, I mean, the innings last week is just incredible. You know, for any player to score a double ton in a 50 over game is some achievement, really. I mean, I've not seen Stokesy hit the ball any cleaner than he's hitting it at the moment. He's making it look effortless. You know, some of the shots he's played today, you just sit there and go, wow, that's something else. So, you know, and it's not just with the bat. You know, he took 5 for 8. You know, he bowled brilliantly again today up front. Obviously red ball and as you mentioned, conditions a little bit more testing. But we set up, you know, to say, look guys, in these conditions today, hit the stumps as much as possible. And you know, that's basically what he did. Ran up and did that, you know, and if you keep things as simple as he does, you're going to get success.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. What else did you enjoy from that game today?
You know, we've got 3 new guys that have never played for Guernsey at any level. A few guys have played junior representative cricket, so you know, to see 3 new faces is really encouraging. You know, they all contributed in the game today as well. You know, Martin picked up his first wickets for Guernsey. You know, Waleed scoring his first runs. Ben bowled nicely. You know, so it's great that we can effectively have more players in that pool. So when we do come to having some fixtures, we've got a bigger pool to realistically look at.
And you're, as I say, back involved in Island cricket again after you know, a few years away. I gather you sent out selection letters for this match, kind of a bit of harking back to sort of old school kind of mentality, and I guess is that about making it a bit of a sort of prestigious thing to be selected for your island or for an island representative side?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, it's not really been a privilege to play for your island. Yeah, it's sort of, you're going out and saying, are you available to play for Guernsey? Not, you are selected to play for Guernsey. So by doing it in that way, you're putting the onus back on the player to say, you have been selected, now you have to make yourself available. So it's just a real tiny tweak, you know, and you know, some players who might have played 50, 60 games for Guernsey, it won't mean anything to them. But for guys who are coming in for the first time, it does mean a lot to them. Yeah, it's something that, you know, I know one of the lads has already framed that letter, you know, because that's his first time playing for Guernsey, so he wants to keep that, you know, so it's really sort of trying to get a sense of pride back in that you are playing for Guernsey.
And is that something you felt keenly when you put on a green top?
Absolutely, yeah. Every single time, you know, my mentality, you know, regardless whatever sport I end up playing, if I'm playing for Guernsey, is, firstly, you should be proud to play for your island, and secondly, you have to win. You have to do everything you can to win that match, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, stay with me, because let's look back at what happened in domestic cricket this week, because we've got a competitive season shaping up. Still early days, of course. Indies and Griffins, unfortunately, had their game washed out on Tuesday night. Two teams that will be hoping and expecting to be in the mix come the end of things. But Cobo were able to get on the field, reigning champions for the last few years, and it was Cobo who took the chance to steal ground on their rivals. They faced Wanderers Rovers at the KG5 on Wednesday, but they got off to the worst possible start when danger man Tim Ravenscroft skied one off GH Smith on the very first ball of the match, Doug Horrocks collecting the catch. And Smith was in the action again soon after too to help get rid of another of Cobo's leading men, Josh Butler this time. A much better connection, but a catch to match it. From there, though, Cobo settled down. Ollie Newey and Ben Fairbrush saw them through the recovery phase before getting their side onto the front foot. Newey clearing the ropes once and Fairbrush twice as they both reached half centuries. One of those big hits even clearing the new extra layer of netting protecting the 3G pitch. Newey eventually fell for 54, but Fairbrush saw the innings through with 62 from 48 as last year's champions finished on 155 for 3. Wanderers' reply got off to a pretty eventful start. Jamie Nussbaumer taking 2 and 2 balls in the first over of the innings. That after the former Island captain had bowled a rather interesting no ball with his opener. He followed those up with another soon after. Wanderers Rovers chase faltering really before it got going. But still with GH Smith there, they were still in the game. The big hitting opener found his range pretty quickly, launching 3 sixes to keep his side interested. But the wickets continued to fall and eventually that caught up with him. Dec Martel coaxing him down the track and Finton Ridgewick collecting neatly to leave him stranded. Martel picked up 2 more scalps with his spin. Wanderers Rovers closing their innings 8 down as they lost by 50 runs. On to Thursday night, it was a much closer affair in the sunshine at the KG5. Young Charlie Clapham led the way for Opties, making 64 from 47, including a couple of 4s and a 6 as they set a regulars 140 to win. And it was some chase in the end. Walid Jami's 46 at the top of the order got them on their way before a flurry of wickets looked to have derailed things. But Gasharai Masikveni wasn't having any of that, sending 4 deliveries over the boundary ropes, including 2 in the final over to get his side over the line with 1 ball to spare. Great finish to that game. So Cobo topped the early standings then with 2 wins from 2. Lee, what do you make of the early play this summer? You think it's going to be a good competition?
Yeah, I think that's Cobo are a solid side, as they always have been. Griffins are decent. Independents, I think they're probably the team to beat. Certainly, if Stokesy carries on the way he's going at the moment, they're going to be a difficult side. So yeah, there's been some decent games so far. So that's really encouraging. I think the next round of games are going to be on grass, so that might just balance it out a little bit there. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be nice and tight come the end of the season.
You've sort of got back involved this summer in the coaching setup. What was your motivation to be back playing a part?
Well, it was the GCB that basically asked me. They said, look, we could do with some more sort of on-island experience. Obviously, with all the restrictions, etc., with Andy Cornford not being able to travel, it was sort of more of a case of. Originally, I came in as let's say a temporary coach. It seemed to go quite well. So, again, once we then went to the second lockdown, and Andy can't travel again, it's sort of like, well, actually, we need to do something more full time and sort of get me more involved. So, once those sort of questions were posed to me, it was like, okay, yeah, it's I've got time now to give something back.
And what are you hoping to impart on the players? Then, obviously, it's been a quiet. Quite 18 months really in terms of kind of island cricket, apart from those games against the Isle of Man last summer. We've found out over the last couple of days that there will be inter-insular cricket again this summer, which is great news. So something at least to build up to. What are you going to be looking to impart on that squad?
I think the biggest part with our squad, we've got some very, very talented cricketers. There's no question about that. And if I had to pick a team today, that would be a very, very difficult team to pick. I think the biggest part, obviously I've played the game 30 years now, So there's probably not much that I haven't seen or haven't encountered in the game. Yeah, and certainly in those years, I've spent 20 years as a captain. So it's really just trying to get guys to think slightly differently about how they go about the game, how they can become more consistent, how they can change games while it's going on, instead of you get a lot of scenarios where you're going to win the game comfortably, so the game just drifts away for 20 minutes, half an hour. It's trying to get that attitude mentality in them to say, actually, let's do something different and go and win the game quicker. So yeah, it's really more the experience side of things. The technical coaching as such, mostly more youngsters need the technical coaching. But we've got some experienced players. We've got a real nice mix in the two squads that we've now put together. So for me, it's just imparting that knowledge of the game into them and trying to get them to think slightly outside the box at times, and be more, as captains, be more aggressive. Take more risks. Try and get batters out within the first 10 balls. If you concede a boundary in that time, it's fine. Don't worry about it, because at the end of the day, you take wickets, you're going to win matches.
Fantastic. And that news of that dates have been set for entrances this summer for that 50 over entrance over in Jersey. Has that put an extra sort of spring into everyone's step?
Yeah, to be honest, I heard it in the middle of MCC's innings today. So at drinks break, I told the boys straight away, and said, actually, guys, look, an inter-insular, as long as there isn't any travel blips between there and now, that's going to happen. So, bit of good news for you all, especially at that point when it's sort of slightly drizzling and probably not the nicest conditions to be out there fielding. So yeah, and now it just gives the guys something that they can work towards.
Fantastic.
Fixture in the calendar.
Yeah, all to play for. Well, thanks very much for joining me in the sunshine here at the College Field. We'll of course be back next week with another cricket catch-up, rounding up that evening league action back on the grass. And of course, for all the best coverage of local cricket, do pick up a paper too. There'll be a full report in Monday's paper on this game today from the College Field. That's it from us. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tom.